Good morning, everybody. This is going to be your ALEKS quiz review. And what I did was I took questions like what you saw yesterday on your worksheet and I put them all on this Microsoft Word document, all ready to go. And I will go through one of each type of problem, including some problems that maybe we didn't even have on yesterday's worksheet, but everything we've done before. All right, so the first kind of problem that you saw was something like this in vertex form, but there was a coefficient in front of some of your problems, and maybe that threw a few of you off. Don't let it throw you off. The coefficient does not affect the vertex. I am still shifting this graph to the left 5 units, and I'm shifting this graph up 1 unit. Remember, inside the parenthesis is always left and right, opposite the way you think. Outside the parenthesis is always up and down, exactly the way you think. So if I'm going to the left 5, I'm having a vertex at -5. And if I'm going up 1, the y value is +1. So I've got a vertex of -5, comma 1. I'll even go ahead and plot that right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5, comma 1. And there's my vertex. Notice how this is -5 right here. So one thing I wrote in a message to you yesterday is go old school. Make a t-table. Also, some of you did look at the explanations for your problems. Good for you. If you did, you discovered something brand new, which I'll even go over with you in a second. So choose values on either side of -5, like -4 and -3. Also -6 and -7. All right, so I could do -4 and -3, and I could do -6 and -7. Then simply go and plug in to the original equation to find the y values. And I'm going to do this relatively quickly because, we're somewhat short on time here. But if I plug in, say, -4, -4 plus 5 is 1. All right, -4 plus 5 squared plus 1. That's going to be 1 squared plus 1, and 1 squared plus 1 is 2. All right, so recall it helps to possibly write it as a coordinate. Let's plug in -3. Oh, I'm sorry. What did I forget to do? I forgot to multiply by -2 at the end. Here, let's erase. Let's erase. Erase too much. There we go. Okay, let me erase a little bit right there. Let's just be more gentle with my erasing. Okay. So it's -2 times -4 plus 5 squared plus 1. Okay, so 4 plus 5, -4 plus 5 is 1. All right, and then 1 times -2, let me write it over here on the side. -2, -4 plus 5 squared, and then plus 1. So we've got -2 times 1 squared plus 1. So that's -2 times 1 plus 1, which is -2 plus 1, which is -1. There we go. All right. So -4 comma -1. So let me plot that. -4 comma -1 right there. Let's try -3. All right, so -2 times -3 plus 5 squared plus 1. So that's -2 times 2 squared plus 1. So that's -2 times 4 plus 1, which is -8 plus 1, which is -7. -7. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to go over to -3 and plot my point. Remember that in vertex form and in any form, a parabola is symmetrical. So if I've done this correctly, if I go to -6, I should also be at -1. Now there's 3 points to the parabola. If I go to -7 and go symmetrically, I'll be at that coordinate right there. Okay, -6, -1, and -7. When ALEKS asked you to draw 4 additional points, these are the 4 additional points right there. Okay, -3, comma -7, -4, -1, -6, comma -1, and -7, comma -7. Those are the 4 additional points that ALEKS can help you draw. Pause the video, replay the video. What did I do? I found the vertex. I chose x values symmetrically on either side of the vertex. And then I plugged in. Plug it in, plug it in. Pause this, go back over. Going to number 2. Okay, it says graph a parabola. And many of you didn't get this correct, and I understand why. It can't be factored. But a lot of you looked at the explanations, and good for you. You discovered that you can find the axis of symmetry by just using this equation, negative b over 2a. What is negative b over 2a? Recall, a equals 1, b equals negative 2, and c equals 5. So then negative b divided by 2a would be a negative of a negative 2, which would be positive 2, over 2 times a, which is 2 times 1. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. So that means my vertex is going to be 1 comma blank. How do I find the other part of the vertex? Plug it in, plug it in. So it's going to be 1 squared minus 2 times 1 plus 5. And so that's 1 minus 2 plus 5. And that's negative 1 plus 5, which is 4. And so I'll get 1 comma 4. All right, so I'll go up to 1 and then comma 4. However, I do need 2 other points. All right, so pick x values on either side. So let's do 0 and negative 1, and let's do 2 and 3. All right, one of the things I could find quite easily is the y-intercept. How about that? 0 comma 5. So 0 comma 5 is right here. If you need to, draw your axis of symmetry right on the vertex. So then I'll also go equidistant. So that's 2 comma 5. There we go. I've got 2 more points right there. Then plug in one more value. We could either plug in negative 1 or 3. I'll plug in 3. So 3 squared minus 2 times 3 plus 5. 3 squared is 9. Minus 2 times 3 is minus 6, and then plus 5. Negative 9, or 9 minus 6 is 3, and 3 plus 5 is 8. So I get 3 comma 8. I should also get negative 1 comma 8. All right, so 3 comma, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 comma 8 and negative 1 comma 8. And I've plotted my 4 extra points. That is another way you could have solved that problem. Or you could have completed the square. So here's the equation. Look what I did. I took the 5, the plus 5, and I subtracted it to the other side of the equation. Then let's complete the square. Let's take half of negative 2, get negative 1, and then square it. Negative 1 squared is 1, so just add 1 to both sides, add 1 to both sides. I kind of drew in space where I needed to go there. So x squared minus 2x plus 1 is a perfect square trinomial that factors to x minus 1 and x minus 1, or x minus 1 quantity squared, and then it equals negative 5 plus 1, which is negative 4. Last but not least, add the negative 4 back over to the other side. You get y equals x minus 1 squared plus 4. Take a look, everybody. The vertex of this parabola is 1 unit to the right, so positive 1, and 4 units up, positive 4. Isn't that the same 1 comma 4 that we got right here? It is. And then you could find the other points by plugging in similarly. So you could either use your new knowledge of the axis of symmetry. Negative b over 2a gives you the x value of the axis of symmetry. Well, there is only an x value. It's a vertical line. Okay, so 2 different methods of solving a question like that. Speaking of completing the square, a few of you had questions about this. Take the 8, cut it in half and get 4. Then square the 4 and get 16. Guess what? You're done with that question. Comparing different types of lines. And they give you 3 different functions. The first thing you could do is you can get rid of the h of x, k of x, g of x, and just call it y equals, y equals, y equals. Y equals negative 2x squared. That's an x, apologies. Okay, that's an x squared right there. Negative 2x squared, that's a parabola, definitely, and that parabola is going to be frowning at us, so it's a parabola opening down. Y equals 3 is the equation of a horizontal line. y equals 4x minus 5. That's definitely a line. It's a diagonal line, and because the slope is positive, it's a line with a positive slope. Done with that one. I'm going to pause this and continue the video in a second.